Hello and welcome to the papercraft tutorial of the Moon Scanner. Today we are going to go through the steps to make this little toy that includes a working handle, working tape deck opener, and a little screen that pops in. So I've done this project a little over 20 times, just with the different iterations of this design. So I'm going to be going through this at a moderate speed. This video is here for you to pause, to rewind, to take a break. I estimate it's going to take 2 to 3 hours to complete this, depending on your skill level. And it is meant to be a fun project and not a test of how fast you can make a papercraft. So you're here because you either got this kit with all of the pieces and a little sticker pack, or you were able to download the PDF online and print it out. If you have the kit, the additional supplies that you'll need are glue. I use tacky glue and a cutting instrument, whether that is scissors or an X-Acto knife. If you have the kit, all of your pieces are already cut out for you, so you are good to move on to the first step. If you have the PDF version, you'll need to go ahead and cut out on the dotted line. So the first step is taking this little blank tape that you have and decorating it. I'm gonna go ahead and be basing my tape off of the Jams tape from the show, but feel free to do whatever you'd like. If you have the printed version, you'll have the Jams version ready, as well as a blank one. Once you have the final color for your tape, we're going to go ahead and start folding. So for you with the kit, you're going to have these lines that are scored into the paper. These are where you're folding. If you have the PDF version, there should be a different dotted line to let you know where you want to be folding. These tabs are going to be where you're putting glue. So make sure to fold them at right angles to keep your tape aligned. And I'm just running my nail over these to make sure that the creases are nice and crisp. In addition to glue, I got a tip that it was easiest to apply the glue if it was on a Post-it or a piece of tape, and you are using a toothpick instead of the nozzle of the glue. That allows you to be a little bit more precise about how much glue you're using and where the glue is ending up. So I'm gonna be applying glue to these 4 tabs first. And then I'm going to fold these down so that the tabs go on the inside. And then I'm going to hold each of the tabs down for about 5 seconds. I'm making sure that these right angles all stay together. You can even do them more than one at a time if you feel comfortable doing that, but it is also perfectly fine to do them each on their own. Again, I'm holding for about 5 seconds. Give the glue a little bit of time to get a hold of the paper. And this glue is fairly forgiving. I just lifted up the other side to get this down. and I was still able to get it back and sticky where it's supposed to be. Now that the bottom of the cassette is built, I'm going to put glue on these 3 tabs and close it up. This one's pretty nice just to do all in one motion. Like closing up a little briefcase. And again, you want to hold for about 5 seconds. And there we go. The next step in this process is going to be the handle. So you have these 2 little yellow pieces and this black piece. We're going to start by folding the little yellow piece. What these little tabs are going to fold up into is a little triangle that will stick out a little bit and make it able to rotate when it is inside of the scanner. So we're going to start by folding this across. So it should look like this. And then we're going to flip these tabs up. So you should have something like this. Now there are 3 lines here. That is where you're going to fold over next. And this doesn't have to look particularly beautiful. It's going to be hidden inside. We just want it to be nice and structurally sound. So we've folded these lines. Now we're going to put glue on these little tabs. This is going to be folded up. This tab goes inside of this tab, and this tab goes inside of this tab. So you should end up with this little triangular protrusion. Once you have that, you're going to put glue on the inside. And smush it down. So you end up with this one side of the handle. We're going to do that again for this handle. So now you have these 2 handle pieces. We'll do the center of the handle. We're going to fold along these vertical lines so that the silver remains on the outside. You're also going to be folding this and this score line on this tab. So then you get something that looks like this. We're now going to take our two handle pieces and mount them inside of this handle piece. I'm going to apply glue on the inside of the side that does not have the slopes, so it should be a 90-degree angle. And then just press the handle pieces. You'll notice that the line of where this tab ends shouldn't go past the black. Ideally, we're lining these lines up together. Now we're going to add glue to this tab. And going to be folding this tab to sit here. I use the table so I get a little bit more control over where the tab ends up. Now we're going to be folding these tabs in. So I'm going to put glue here, and then I'm going to be pushing these tabs inside so that it gives it an edge. Same for this one. Hold it for about 5 seconds to make sure that the glue sticks. And now we're going to apply glue on the inside of that tab that we just laid down so that we can fold these up into the handle. The next piece we're going to fold is the yellow base. Like with all of these, we're going to start by creasing on these score lines. This stays straight, we do not fold this. And make sure to pay attention up here. So this line, this black line, should not be folded. It just remains straight. These small tabs are going to be folded in to the body and will end up looking like this. Now we're going to do a bit of a tricky one. So these lines are cut, and then we have some score lines here. The score lines that are on the outside are going to fold into mountains, and the score line in here is going to fold down into a valley. So just gently push getting these scored lines going, and then it should collapse down like this so that you are able to give it some good creases. And you have this little indentation. Now we're going to start gluing. I usually start in the back, so I'm going to be putting glue on this tab and this tab. together. Make sure to keep an eye out and keep those 90-degree angles going. This piece and the blue piece will end up being put on top of one another, and so the closer that these are to 90 degrees, the better they will fit together. This tab stays up, and these tabs are going to fold inside. So I'm going to put some glue on the tabs. And fold them inside. I like to use the table to make sure that everything is straight. The line that we're looking to line up with is the edge of the base. So just make sure that it stays nice and aligned towards that. And we will hold it. So you should have something that looks like this. The next bit we're going to do is the front. So I'm going to be putting glue here and here. This tab will go to this side, and this tab will go inside here. This little yellow circle can stay on the inside. You can even put a little glue there. Make sure it holds. And then we'll do the same with the other side. The next thing we're going to do is take these little guys and we're going to make a little bit of structure in here because the tape deck is going to press up against here when in its closed position. Just want to give it a little bit of more strength so it doesn't bend very easily. So glue is going to go on this tab and this tab. And this is folded in to make a square. The thing you just want to be mindful of is making sure that it doesn't obstruct this area because there's going to be some mechanisms happening in there. So it should be at least 90 degrees. And once it is starting to hold, I'm going to put a little bit more glue on top so that I can fold this tab down. To hold it a little bit better in place. And we'll do the same with the other side. So this is what we have. And all we need to do right now for the yellow base, we're going to attach the handle to it. So these little knobs go right inside the holes. And then there should be a couple pieces of circular yellow in your kit. You actually just need 2 for this project, but since they're so small, I put a couple more in there, just in case one got lost. As far as what is the bottom and what is the top of this handle, I tend to put this seam face down so that it's not visible on the top. I'm going to apply glue to the inside on that little knob, and then stick this guy on top. And then we do the same with the other side. So you should have a secure handle. The next step is the antenna. This piece of paper has some score lines on it to give you an idea of the angle that this piece of paper should roll up. It'll end up looking like this. And in order for that black line to show up, you'll want to roll it underneath. And you don't need to do it super tight right now. You can just do this roll pretty loose, just to train the paper to start rolling in that direction. Once we have the paper sort of starting to get into that antenna shape, we'll roll it back out and then roll this as tight as you can. This guy's pretty forgiving. There's going to be a little bit of extra room here in the hole, so if it's a little bit bigger, that's fine. We're now going to apply glue here. And then roll it. So once it is secure, we're going to take a look at where the black ends, and we're going to fold it there. And then we're going to fold this in half. So we end up with a little N shape for the end of the antenna, which is going to help us make this mechanic work. The next step that we're going to do is this screen that's on the inside of the moon scanner. And that's comprised of 2 pieces. This frame and this screen. The idea for this is once you fold all of these little pieces, the paper folds around it, makes a semicircle shape. So, doing the same thing to this side, folding down all little tabs. Folding this score line, as well as this one. And these two that are on the sides. Once you have all of this folded, I'm going to push the tabs on either side of the semicircle down and apply glue to those. So it gets folded up and the sides of the semicircle come down. So I know that we typically hold things for 5 seconds, but this guy we're going to hold probably for like 15 because it is going to want to spring back up. You can also press down on the little tabs inside to make sure that they are adhering to the right spots. Then we do the same thing to the other side. Even if these little tabs aren't sticking as faithfully as you would like, this is going to fold down and get glued here, so that'll give it a little bit more structure as well to keep the dome shape. So we'll apply glue on these outside tabs and fold this down. I use the table for help with this one too. Push it down, make sure all of those corners get attached. You should have a little semicircle. Now we're going to do the frame. We're going to go ahead and crease all of these lines. You'll see these little triangles. These are going to be the tabs we put glue on to make the frame the right shape. And these also get folded down. So once you have all of these creased, we'll go ahead and start on one side, putting the glue on the tabs. Then these are going to go underneath the tab right next to it. One of these sides creates a 90-degree angle, and the other one creates a 45-degree angle. That is correct. You did not mess up. You want to make sure that this is a little beveled so that it doesn't hit the inside of the blue part of the moon scanner when it pops up. So now we have this, and we're going to put the screen inside. We're going to put glue on the insides here. And then stick this guy inside. And then it should pop out on the other side. And you'll have this little curve. Once this gets situated, we can then finish gluing the rest of the frame down. So it's just squishing down the rest of these edges and putting a little glue under each one. Again, I use the table to help press on all of this. And that's your screen. The next part that we'll fold is this long gray guy. This is going to be the device that sits inside here to make this pop up and down. First, we're going to fold a couple lines. There's also a score line kind of hidden in the speaker. That's going to be folded into a valley, which means away. A valley is down, mountain is up. We're then going to go to the next line and fold that into a mountain. The next line is a valley. And so we have this little zigzag. We're going to put glue on both sides of this segment, and that's going to give this a little bit of structure so that it is able to hold up to being pushed and pulled over time. So both of these should be behind this, and this is where the screen is going to go. I'm then going to fold this to be a valley, this next one to be the mountain, and this next one to be a valley. So we have that zigzag again. We're now going to take the screen and mount it here. We said before that one side was sloped and the other was not. This sloped side is going to be what sits up against the black. The most important thing to note for this guy is we want to make sure that the screen is not overlapping either of the sides. So if it's sitting like this, it's not going to be able to pop in and out. It's going to get caught. So just making sure that when you do glue it down, that it stays in the center of this. So put some glue on. And then with the sloped side at the top, and making sure that it stays in the center, you can also press it against the table. Pressing down on those four corners, making sure it adheres. The next step is attaching the antenna. So when we see the screen, the antenna is going to go into the back. So it'll look like this. We're going to be putting glue here as well as here, and having the antenna butt up against the right side of the hole. Putting this down as well gives it a little bit more structure. First, making sure to put the antenna down, and then folding this over and pressing nice and hard so that it stays. The last bit of this little device is we're going to do the same thing we did up here, just making a little bit of reinforcement by cording this up, putting glue on both sides of this. Once we apply the glue, fold it down and squish. Make sure everything holds. The way that this folds is like this. If you have the printed version, the stickers are already applied. But if you have the kit, this would be the time to pull out your little sticker pack. Once you have these little stickers, take them off the back of the sticker paper. This G is going to go in, there's a little score line on the inside here. If you kind of wave it kind of back and forth in the light, you can kind of see it shine up. And that is the circle that the G goes in. And then Aftershock goes down here. Put the rest of these stickers away for later. And apply this to the screen. And this device is done. The next step in this process is the buttons that's attached to the cassette device. This is definitely the hardest part of this build, but just take your time. The main thing is keeping this silhouette in the final, because that's what's going to allow these movements, one holding so that the tape stays up, and one sitting so that the tape goes down. So let's get started. Let's fold this first one into a mountain, the next one into a mountain, next one, and a mountain. This next one is going to be a valley, and then the one after that, a mountain, the one after that, a mountain, and the one after that, a valley. So it'll look like this. We can also fold this into a valley. The next part is these side pieces. Folding these down. And then we're going to fold these little tabs. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. Here's the third one. Here's the fourth one. It's just a little guy at the top. And the last one. We'll do that to the other side as well. So this will fold down, and this is going to wrap around. So that's what we're doing for this next couple steps. This is the hard part. So I would recommend doing these tabs, these first two tabs first, doing them together. And first tab goes underneath the play button, right there. And then the second one folds over so it makes this steep angle, which is what this is. Do that to the other side as well. The next two that we're going to do are this tab on the inside and the triangle. You can fold it. Make sure that this is upright so that this guy just slides in there. Like I said, this is probably the most difficult part, and I'm trying to angle towards the camera, so that's apologies for the weird angle there. So it makes that indent, and then we do the same to the other side. The next two tabs that we're going to use are this one and this one. This guy's going to go inside. Here. And the triangle does the same on the other side. Pushing this up against there. Do the same to the other side. The last tab that we have to glue are these two long ones. So we'll put some glue on both of those. And press this down. This tab should still be free. Next, we're going to make this a valley fold. And the next one, a mountain. Going to put these two tabs down and their sides. These guys too. So this is going to create a little shelf inside here. Just lifts this up a little bit more. So these tabs will go back here. So it creates that stable little triangle. This fold still stays down, and this one is going to come down next. So put some glue on this tab, and this tab. Closing it. Tucking everything in. And pull it. Now we're going to glue that leftover tab down. This just makes this little paper hinge that we have a bit stronger. The next part we're going to do is the next score line. We're going to fold into a valley. These guys come to the inside, and the next score line also is down. So we should see the keys and a triangle, and then this last one. These sides also come in. And they're going to get glued all together like this. So we will put glue on these tabs. The thing to look for here is to make sure that these are lined up, that it's not kind of sticking out or anything, as there is a fixed width to the cassette mechanism when it comes out. So we want to make sure that we're not overlapping and causing it to get stuck when we try to have it pop out. For this, if you have the kit, there is a piece of plastic, just a small clear piece of plastic that you can adhere to your screen so that we can do the stickers properly at the end. If you have a printed kit, the stickers are already on there, so you don't need to worry about any plastic. But if you wanted to be fancy, you could take any recycled plastic, like plastic containers or like takeout or whatever. You cut a little square or rectangle out and do the same process as we are doing right now. So I'm applying glue to just the sides, and I'm scraping it a little bit so it is thin and it's not going to run, because we want to try to be as precise as possible with this as I drop. The idea here being, if you are gentle and don't smear it back and forth, that your window should remain clean and not have any glue smudges on it. And that is the key mechanism. Okay, so the last piece we have to assemble is the blue top. So let's get going on the creases. Now, like with this yellow round piece, we do not need to fold these blue rounded pieces. So we're going to start with this guy in the front. It's going to come down like this and sit right up against where the tape deck opens, so that the tape itself doesn't fall into the body of the moon scanner. So we're going to apply some glue here and fold it just up to the line. We want to make sure that it doesn't go over the line so that the tape deck can open and close without getting caught on this ridge. We'll glue these little triangles to the sides after we finish the back. Let's go ahead and put the back together. We want to make sure that these right angles are still being kept, as that'll be really important when the yellow and the blue parts are put together. This part is going to go inside, so we will put the glue on the tab. And then, like we did with the yellow, we can use the table to help squash this down and keep the right angles in place. Keep an eye on this to make sure that it doesn't go past the lip. You want to make sure that it's flush so that the yellow and the blue fit together nicely. So these down here are going to serve as the walls inside of the speaker screen. So we will put glue on these tabs. And then fold inside, making sure that it doesn't cross the entrance to making sure it doesn't cross where this will be going up and down, so we don't want to block it. So you can even put it a little bit inside of the structure if you don't feel comfortable with it being flush, or your skill level of making it flush. Same with the other side. And with this back one. Making sure that this down here, making sure it doesn't go past that so that we don't block the speaker mechanism. Now we can add some glue over here and over here to secure this ridge to these sides. So now we're going to start assembling. This piece is going to go through here. And fold over So we're going to put lots of glue here. The most important place for glue to be is along this bottom ridge. It's going to get a lot of tension put on it when the mechanism is going. Right here. Okay. Making sure that it doesn't fall over either side, and that this goes up. And then we really want to hold it to make sure that it is secure. The next place we'll put glue is here. Again, lots and lots of glue. Even up here. You can go anywhere within the black box. And then we want to secure it tightly. Because the mechanism has a lot of push and pull to it, we really want to let that dry. So even like before messing around with it, let it dry for like a good 5 minutes. Now we can add the tape deck. It's going to go under here, and these windows will line up there. So we'll go ahead put some glue on. Same deal as before, where we're trying to be really careful with this one so that we don't get any of the glue on the part of the plastic we'll be able to see. But if we do, it's okay. Pressing them together, just keeping an eye out to get the two windows lined up with each other. And for this one, the most important place for the glue to adhere is this top guy. And really the same waiting time should be applied to this as the back mechanism. But in the meantime, that is all set. Now we get to put these two together. I recommend first to do a little test fit before you do any glue. What that means is we're going to try and stick everything together up here. You want to make sure that this is going straight on into the front. That way it'll go through. These blue bits are going to go right inside of here. This yellow bit stays on the outside. This yellow bit goes on the inside. And we're looking to see if everything lines up, if there's any issues. It looks pretty good. So I will take this part out. I'll keep this part connected. And the places that I'm going to be applying glue are this back yellow guy, under here, as well as these guys. And I'm being pretty generous, especially on these ones. It's going to be hard to press into them, so the hope is that if you put enough glue on it, they'll just kind of get together. Okay, so antenna goes through, and then we lined it up like we did for the test one. This will take a little bit of finagling, and you have some time before the glue really sets in. It should kind of look like this, with this part still left. Going around, seeing if all the corners are lining up. That's a good indication of if it's in the right spot. So lastly, we want to bring this down. So these are going to get glued to this. And then this guy is going to sit up against that ridge that we created. So we'll also give a lot of glue there because we don't have a lot of leverage in applying them together. Slide this down up against the blue. Press down. So while we wait for this to dry, we're going to get back to our stickers. I said there is a little bit of extra black around these, so feel free to cut into it so you don't have any weight. So you are perfectly welcome to put these stickers wherever you'd like. But if you'd like to know where they end up on the scanner in the show, the rainbow is on the corner here. The skate is a little further down. And then the beaker, a little wonky up here. And it should go over the sides a little bit. So now this is given some time to dry. You can see with this one, the white has gone away now because it's been dry for a while. So that's a good indicator of when this is a good time to test out your tape deck. This guy should work by pulling up and out. And this guy should work by pushing and pulling. You want to help it out a little bit the first couple times so it gets used to where it's going. But there you have it. That is how you put together the moon square in a paper craft. Congrats! I hope that you had fun making it. I had fun designing it based off of the amazing prop from the show. And if you feel like you aren't happy with how it turned out, you can always make another one. I think that these are the way that they are because I've made a good amount of them in the time that I've been trying to figure out the design. So whether or not the mechanisms are for work or for show, whether or not it is something that you would rather not ever try to attempt again because it took a long time and papercraft isn't necessarily your deal, I appreciate your attention during this time. Thanks so much, and I will see you in the next papercraft.